One day we decided to do a book based on the rock group Kiss.
Hello, comic book fans. I'm Kevin Gibbon, back with you once again this week on Comics Let's Talk in commemoration of the Kiss End of the Road Tour and Kiss Comics The End. We're going to take a look at the history of Kiss in the world of comic books. Gene Simmons was an avowed comic book fan and always wanted to be in his own comic. In 1977, he got that chance. Gene owned every Marvel comic ever written at that point. He must have been thrilled when production began on Marvel Super Special #1 in 1977. Of course, we can go back to before that with Howard the Duck's issues number 12 and 13, which also came out in 1977. That was their first appearance ever in a comic book. To save time, we're not going to look at reprints or trade collections, just original appearances. This is from Mars Will Send No More website and the Collector's Guide. Marvel Comics Super Special #1, blasting into your reality from the summer of '77. It's a double-sized Kiss Super Special from Marvel Comics. This Bronze Age treasure compiles interviews, a discography, and pics of the band with a multi-part Marvel Comics adventure penned by Steve Gerber.
Publicity is really one of the most important things in the world. You could have the greatest product in the world. If people don't know about it, it dies of boredom. One day we decided to do a book based on the rock group Kiss. Yeah, I had met Gene Simmons. In fact, we've become quite friendly. And I remember when they first started, he and Gene Stanley came up to my office and they said, "What do you think of our costume?" And they had these boots with soles this thick that made them 6.5 feet tall. And I'm thinking, these guys are crazy. Shows what I knew.
Now that is rock and roll. Our favorite thing about Marvel Comics Super Special #1 is the advertisement for Air Latveria. It promises you a visit to the land of Latverian enchantment to enjoy. Among other things, the famous outdoor gladiatorial robot matches. Yes! Where do we book the next flight out of here? Then in 1978, Marvel Super Special #5.
And some publicity guy got the idea that they would go up to the printing plant where the books were printed, and each of the 4 members of Kiss would take a pin and just prick their finger and get a few drops of blood to come out and drop those blobs of blood, drops of blood, into the ink, into the red ink. I said, "You guys are out of your mind." He said, No, it's great. It'll get a lot of publicity. The idea being that every kid or everybody who bought a Kiss comic book in some way was getting a little bit of Kiss's blood in that comic book.
That's pretty.
And sure enough, they chartered a plane. I went with them like an idiot. We flew up to Buffalo where the press was. And I'll never forget this. The city of Buffalo had been told that we were coming. And there were policemen stopping, 2 limousines were waiting. Policemen were at corners stopping traffic while we went to the printer. And all I could think of was this traffic that was stopped. There's probably some doctor going to save a person's life. There's probably some guy going to his job, which is an important job. These people are being stopped while 5 morons, the 4 of them and me, are going to go and drop some blood in a printing plant. But anyway, we went there and they put their little blood in there.
Marvel Super Special #5 reunited the makeup-clad superheroes with Dizzy once again as they face a new threat in the Wizard, who is looking to utilize a certain type of energy which only can be found at a mass gathering. They discover a sporting event won't do it, nor a religious event. Only the energy found at a rock concert will give him the energy he needs to accomplish his nefarious plans. After that issue, Kiss slowed down a bit with their comic book output. Their popularity began to wane, and they lost key members of the band, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. In 1983, they took off their iconic makeup, and that revitalized their career, but Kiss without makeup isn't very appealing to comic book enthusiasts. It was their makeup personas that made them the superheroes. But then, in 1990, 12 years after the last appearance in the world of comic books, Revolutionary Comics, who were publishing Rockstar Comics, brought Kiss back in some unauthorized comics. From Wikipedia, Revolutionary Comics from 1989 to 1994 was a U.S. comic book publisher best known for the series Rock and Roll Comics, launched in 1989. Founded by publisher Todd Loren, the line featured unlicensed biographies of rock stars told in comic book form, but geared for adults, often with some very adult situations, nudity, drug use, violence, and so on. Some musicians featured in their comics, like Frank Zappa and Kiss, were supportive, while others, like the New Kids on the Block, considered Revolutionaries a comics akin to bootlegs and sued. Loren claimed the First Amendment protected their journalistic rights of illustrated articles, and he took the matter to the U.S. District Court in California, who agreed. Loren's win against the New Kids established, among other things, that comic book biographies were entitled to the same protections as other unauthorized biographies. Loren hired Hey Boss artist Larry Nadolsky to draw the first issue of Rock and Roll Comics, profiling Guns N' Roses. On the comic's release, Guns N' Roses lawyer Peter Paterno sent Revolutionary a cease and desist order. This was reported in a Rolling Stone story that directly resulted in the entire 10,000 copy print run selling out in 2 weeks, thanks to buyers who thought Guns N' Roses would sue the comic out of existence. No lawsuits actually happened, and the comic went into multiple new printings, eventually totaling over 150,000 copies. Rock and Roll Comics number 3 and number 4 on Bon Jovi and Motley Crue respectively did result in lawsuits. The bands had exclusive merchandising deals with Great Southern Winterland Productions, which threatened comic book distributors over carrying the issues and got a court injunction prohibiting Revolutionary from distributing either comic. This forced Revolutionary to build its own distribution network outside traditional comic shops, eventually getting them into music and gift retail outlets which had never carried comics before. This independence from comic book marketplace served the company well as sales continued to rise from issue to issue, with their Metallica comic going into multiple print runs, totaling over 75,000 copies. Rock and Roll Comics number 9, March 1990, featured Kiss. It was by Robert Conti and Greg Fox. Then they appeared in Hard Rock Comics number 5, Kiss Tales from the Tours. That was June of 92. And it was by Spike Steffenhagen and Scott Pencer. Then they had 1993's Kiss Prehistory number 1 through 3, also by Spike Steffenhagen, but this time with J. Allen Sanford and Scott Pencer.
Tell you one thing, Gene Simmons has a photographic memory. On the plane going and coming, he was telling me, he's apparently a big fan, he was telling me, Stan, do you remember that story you wrote in Spider-Man number 23, the third panel on the 5th page, when he remembered I've never known literally a photographic memory. I was so impressed with him. He's really a nice guy and a shrewd businessman. But a drop of his blood is somewhere in one of those comic books, and there it'll stay.
During the Kiss reunion with the original lineup, and to coincide with the release of the album Psycho Circus, Image Comics and Todd McFarlane published comic books based on the album. Kiss Psycho Circus is a comic book series published by American companies Image and Todd McFarlane Productions. It was written by Brian Holgan and illustrated by various artists, including pencilers Angel Medina and Clayton Crane, with inker Kevin Conrad. It portrays the members of the rock band Kiss as supernatural beings known as the Four Who Are One or the Elder, the Demon, the Star-Bearer, the King of Beasts or Beast King, and the Celestial. For over 2 decades, comics featuring Kiss were published exclusively by Marvel Comics. Kiss decided to switch to Todd McFarlane Productions out of admiration for their series Spawn. Gene Simmons said that the concept came from us. The Psycho Circus is a tour theme we're working on, and we may even use the title for an album. Kiss were also involved in plotting the comic. According to Simmons, I throw something to Todd, he throws it back. I'm always kept in the loop, but I leave Todd to his own devices when it comes to actual production and taking things the final step. There were 31 issues in all. Dark Horse Comics began the next Kiss comic series, simply titled Kiss, in 2002, with X-Men writer Joe Casey. The series lasted for 4 unnamed 13 issues, with each issue having a variant photograph cover, with the exception of issues number 1 and 7, which had a 3rd variant cover. This was compiled into 4 trade paperback issues. Dark Horse completed the Kiss series in 2004. This is from My Comic Shop site, from Joe Casey and Mel Ruby, covered by J. Scott Campbell. The most ass-kicking rock band returns to comic, written by the most rockin' of young comics writers, Joe Casey. who wrote Superman, Wildcats, X-Men, he presents a bold new direction for KISS. Years after the split-up of these four superpowered warriors, they've followed very separate paths. The Demon is a bounty hunter. The Star Child lives with a race of women warriors in South America. The Spaceman is cruising the solar system with no human contact. And the Catman's getting in touch with his bestial side. When Catman finally goes too far, the others know they must band together to save the Catman's humanity. But there's another hand at work, pushing the four who are one into a corner. In 2007, KISS 4K released 6 print issues and 4 digital issues, in addition to the oversized Destroyer edition of issue number 1, a limited edition preview issue, and the Kissmas special issue, a webcomic series, was also produced in conjunction with the print issues, telling stories about previous holders of the KISS powers. In 2009, a lithograph box set with exclusive art from the KISS 4K series was released. KISS 4K number 1, a mysterious and beautiful figure, reveals to each KISS member that they carry the world-protecting warrior spirits of the 4K. But have they learned this incredible secret too late? Get in on the ground floor of this sprawling epic adventure as realities crash, and the Demon, the Star Child, the King of all beasts, and the Celestial open up an all-new KISS universe. When the KISS 4K team, Demon, Star Child, King of all beasts, Celestial, and Wicked Lester, are attacked by the mad Dr. Magus and his army of knights on horseback, they must learn to use recently discovered powers or be destroyed. Plus, the Destroyer cult makes a deal with the unholy to destroy our heroes. Also in 2007, we get Gene Simmons' House of Horrors. You knock at the door of the old mansion up on the hill, and who answers? Your host, none other than Gene Simmons, beckoning you inside. The door slams shut. You try to run, but it's too late. You've entered the home of Simmons Comics Group, and there's no turning back. Gene Simmons' House of Horrors kicks up an all-new line of comics created by the rock legend. Up first, this quarterly anthology of tales of terror, all presided over by the Man in Black, Gene Simmons, who also scripts his own dialogue for the comic. And to make this launch even more special, the first issue features a cover by, wait for it, none other than fellow legend Todd McFarlane. Horrific chills and thrills await. In 2011, KISS announced the release of Archie Meets KISS, a new 4-issue comic book series in conjunction with Archie Comics. Each issue was released with 2 variant covers, and all 4 issues were compiled into both a trade paperback and trade hardcover book. The biggest band in rock history invades Riverdale. When the Archies find their town overrun by monsters because of a spell gone wrong, can rock legends KISS save the day? Sabrina the Teenage Witch is also featured, adding a magical touch to this epic crossover. Prepare for the craziest matchup in Archie history since Archie meets the Punisher. The trade edition features a foil-enhanced cover and collects all 4 parts of the miniseries. Reprints of the variant covers by Francesco Francavilla, plus a forward by Gene Simmons and other bonus material. A must-have full-color edition for KISS and Archie fans alike. In 2012, IDW began publishing KISS comics. KISS was a series being printed by IDW Publishing, written by Chris Ryall and illustrated by Jamal Iqbal. The first issue was released in June of 2012, and the first issue is titled Dressed to Kill and has 6 variant covers. Part 2 of Dressed to Kill was released in July and has 5 variant covers, which includes A World Without Heroes Part 1. In a forgotten time of swords and sorcery, dragons and wizards, warriors and maidens, a once united kingdom has become irreversibly divided, ruled separately now by 4 very different overlords. The Destroyer finds a land and its estranged inhabitants ripe for the taking. He unleashes his chaos forces behind the planet, led by the ruthless general Black Diamond. In retaliation, the Elder sends the enigmatic She to deliver the 4 cosmic talismans, gifting the overlords with the powers of the Demon, Star Child, Catman, and Celestial. Can the 4 become one and save their world? The Elder's cosmic soldiers, known as the 4 Who Are One, are reunited just in time to face off against the Destroyer's evil proxy, General Black Diamond, who has unleashed his secret weapon. Will the combined might of the Demon, Star Child, Catman, and Celestial be enough to defeat the world's first dragon in 100,000 years? Next, IDW gave us KISS Kids in 2013, presenting the adventures of Little Demon, Star Child, Cat Kid, and Spacey, the KISS Kids Gang. This rockin' new comic offers adventures for all ages and many in-jokes and familiar characters for the KISS faithful too. No blood or fire here, just laughs and fun tales of the little costumed maniacs and the crazy town in which they live. Also in 2013, we got the KISS solo issues, The 4 Who Are One Go It Alone. Up first, the Demon takes the stage in Radioactive, a tale of blood, revenge, fire, and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Beloved Kiss artist Angel Medina returns to the fold to tell this explosive tale. The four who are one go it alone. It's the Star Child's turn to rock as solo riff and Goodbye, an interstellar romp featuring a cosmic bounty hunter who needs to bring in one last bad guy in order to return home to his beloved wife forever. The only problem is, nobody's ever gone after this baddie in this dark domain and survived. But what if there is a star to light the way? Fractured Mirror, the penultimate Kiss solo issue, turns the spotlight on the Celestial. This tale of galaxy-spanning high adventure sees the most spaced out of the four who are one caught up in a battle against twisted alien pirates and himself. The odds are long and the stakes are high in this standalone spacefaring story. Can't Stop the Rain. Kiss solo issue turns the spotlight on the Catman. In this new twist on the Beauty and the Beast mythos, a malevolent would-be demigod plans the bloody sacrifice of a beautiful virgin female to the dark forces of the universe in the hopes of increasing his own powers, and it's up to the Catman to stop the sinister ceremony to save the girl. Kiss solo the Demon from IDW Publishing. Hey IDW fans, when he's not rock and rolling all night and partying every day, Chris Ryall is hard at work with Kiss solo the Demon. What kind of struggles will the Demon have battling as a solo act? I figured since they've never really been apart before, I should start out small and ease the character into being in a battle without anyone to watch his back. So in this issue, the Demon goes up against the four horsemen of the apocalypse, starting small and all. In this issue, he's trying to figure out just what the deal is with humanity, why they're so important in the scheme of things. So it opens with him trying to be human and understand humanity. And then the horsemen attack, and then he has to decide whether they're even worth fighting for. Also in 2013, Mars attacks Kiss. The weekly invasion continues here. In 1970s New York, four teens are handed the power to become godlike figures, unless some attacking Martians find a way to steal that power for themselves. A tale torn from the original 1977 Kiss comic, courtesy of Chris God of Thunder Ryall and Alan War Machine Robinson. From Geeks of Doom, Mars Attacks Kiss returns to this very original story, first published by Marvel Comics in some sort of alternate Earth, and a bit of a what-if type of story. And what a hell of a what-if. What if the Mars Attacks aliens get their slimy mitts on the Kiss talismans before Jean, Paul, Ace, and Peter do? Quite simply, this happens. Underneath Kiss makeup, and with the powers of the talismans, the Martians use their new superpowered advantage to begin the destruction of the human race as the forward scout party of an impending invasion fleet. And that leaves the dreadfully human and powerless and sans makeup members of the young rock band Kiss to save the day. It's mad, I tell you, mad! But mad in a magnificent way. You see, while it takes a twist on the original concept of the first Kiss comic, Mars Attacks Kiss takes the slapstick schlock of the original Martian invasion story and amplifies it immensely. The story also incorporates many in-jokes specifically about the band in real life, such as the old Gene and Paul versus Ace and Peter chestnut that many hardcore fans will pretty much pee their pants in laughter over. It's very well structured, firmly approached with some new elements previously unseen in both Mars Attacks and Kiss universes respectively. Kudos to Chris Ryall for a story that was not only entertaining, but resulting in a rock and roll tale that melted my brain and imploded my eyeballs. The artwork in Mars Attacks Kiss is also of an excellent standard. Alan Robinson and Jay Fotos toe a very fine line of trying to emulate the Kiss Marvel look without looking too much like it, and balancing the look and ambiance of the Mars Attacks greatness, also without straying too far from the Kiss thing. It's a delicate balancing act that many artists face with great crossovers, but I think they handled this tremendously well. There are some frames which will become immediately iconic to many readers, some of which I would probably pay a metric ton of money for to have enlarged and pinned on my walls. No, really, shut up and take my money. Mars Attacks Kiss is preposterous fun, brilliant, horrifying, hilarious, and total metal. This is most definitely going as one of my comic book highlights of 2013, and the best part about it is that it's not just for the overly obsessed Kiss fan or the Mars Attacks sci-fi enthusiast. This comic is so meticulously written and presented, I truly believe that all comic book fans will get a kick out of it. And if you don't, then at the very least, I think you'll get a kick out of Martians trying to say rock and roll all night and party every day. Then Dynamite got the rights to produce Kiss comics in 2016, and their first series lasted 10 issues. Kiss is back to the future in this dark sci-fi adventure. In a world without sun and a world without heroes, four young friends embark on a dangerous mission to uncover the truth about the mysterious Council of Elders and their underground home, the city of Blackwell. But first they need some help from the past. What is the power of Kiss? In 2018, Kiss met Ash Williams in Kiss, Army of Darkness. Kiss is on top of the world and rocking faces until the Night Disciples of the Destroyer show up and the band disappears. With the tour cancelled, a young Ash misses one of the most important events of his life that will change his destiny. Now the Chosen One must get back on the right path and join the Kiss, Army of Darkness. From Geeks of Doom, you just can't go wrong with a story about Kiss, you know? But like peanut butter and chocolate, some things are even better with a pairing. This holds especially true in Kiss, Army of Darkness #1. Entrusted with the power of the Destroyer, our fearsome foursome uses their power to protect mankind rather than for destruction. Starting off in 1979 at the height of their power, Kiss finds themselves in a bit of a pickle. They have long fought the disciples of the Destroyer, but this time things are a little different. Caught off guard, our heroes find themselves at a disadvantage. 2 years and many questions later, we find that the world's greatest rock band has been missing since that night, and a certain scholar has been looking for help the entire time. No sooner does she find the one she sought than the disciples return to finish what they started. But this time they may not realize what they started. The final page is a bit of a whopper, so be prepared. Fun and fast-paced, I thoroughly enjoyed this first issue. Not much is given away regarding the overall plot, but the build-up is worth the read. The creative team here balances the story and art perfectly, allowing both to shine. If you're a fan of Kiss or Army of Darkness, then this one will appeal to you. Now, go rock and roll all night, but be sure to leave your broomstick at home. Now here's my review of issue 4 for Comics for Sinners. One of the things that bothered me about recent comics with my favorite rock band is that they are usually background characters or only influences on the main characters in the book that featured their name on the cover. Other than the meeting with Vampirella, they did not headline a lot of the recent comics with their name on it. They were good stories, but they themselves played second fiddle to the main characters or situations. Now, finally, powered makeup-clad fabulous foursome spring into action against the bad guys. Looking at the creative team, Bowers and Sims beef up the action in this issue, and we learn something new about the Necronomicon and its relationship to the Destroyer. Ash is not himself, as the book has taken control of his life, and this puts him in direct contrast to the kings of the nighttime world. The battle goes on with one spiritual entity taking control of Ash Williams and another trying to gain control of Kiss. Great stuff includes the demon-possessed Ash splitting into 4 entities to take on our rock and roll heroes. Also, Gene Simmons literally ripping the spine out of a creature that he thinks is Ash, only to have another Ash leap at him from behind. I love where Chad and Chris are going with this title. It brings back Kiss as superheroes in ways that not even the Vampirella team-up could do, and we see what happens when the Necronomicon finally gains control of Ash. Rory Coleman brings the main characters to death, as opposed to life, in unique ways, which really grab the imagination. Kiss hasn't been in a battle like this in a comic book since their IDW days, and even then, most of their titles with them were kind of restrained. Most, but not all the time. Here we see them in action like we haven't seen in a long time. Coleman gives this plane of existence an eerie quality that a book like this needs. Highlights include the splash where Kiss comes together as one, and the battle between Kiss as one and the demon-possessed Ash. In conclusion, this book is so refreshing and a return to form for Kiss as superheroes. We see both antagonists at their best and at their worst as they sink deep into the abyss and must do battle with each other. The story almost seems to conclude with this issue, but we're promised more as it? Nah, no spoilers. To be continued. I give it 4 stars, 8.7 rating. In 2017, Kiss the Demon came out. Before Blackwell, before Morpheus, there was the music. In a small town in Iowa, 3 young Kiss fans meet at a concert and form their own band, unaware that they are about to embark on a journey that will not only change their lives, but also the fate of the world, prequel to the ongoing series. Also from 2017, Kiss met Vampirella. Los Angeles is a strange town on the best of days, but in the summer of 1974, the City of Angels feels especially demonic. Temperatures soar and wildfires burn. All sorts of strange creatures are drawn to town, including Vampirella. While Vampy goes out and hunts down monsters across La La Land, defending humanity from evil, she's also killing it every night on stage as a member of the all-girl rock group Witchcraft, defending rock and roll from a dying scene. Help arrives in the form of 4 creatures who've just flown into town: the Star Child, Demon, Spaceman, and Catman, away from their home turf and trying to record their new album. Kiss discovers that all their favorite LA bands have mysteriously broken up, disappeared, sold out, or gone crazy. Led by a driver who moonlights in the occult and haunted by satanic strangers dressed in black, Kiss finds themselves drawn into a web conspiracy that threatens to kill rock and roll itself. From Logan Dalton and Nerds on the Block, it's 1974 in LA, and rock and roll is dying and waiting for Eddie Van Halen to to bust out the paddles and shock them back to life. The young band Kiss is in town to record their second album, Hotter Than Hell. But the makeup-wearing rockers have the supernatural along with navigating the city of angels. However, Vampirella and her newly minted sidekick Lily get the lion's share of the action in Chris Sabella. Anna Paolo Martella and Valentino Pinto's crossover comic Kiss Vampirella #1. They get the intrigue, action, and Vampy gets to be part of a kick-ass all-girl band called Witchcraft, which gives Martello and Pinto an opportunity to kick out the goth styles and use plenty of black in her palettes, respectively. Even though she's a vampire and quite violent at times, Vampirella is a real ray of sunshine in Kiss Vampirella #1, and the perfect deliverer of exposition and a general guide to the supernatural side of the Sunset Strip for both readers and Lily. She is very in tune with her surroundings and doesn't just leap into action, but uses her cover as a rhythm guitarist to see who might be trouble down the road. It seems like Vampy is genuine friends with Lily, and the whole comic about their relationship could be interesting. This is why it seems like Kiss seems shoehorned in, although the bandmates have an easygoing vibe to them that are more connected to overarching apocalypse plot that has something to do with their instruments. When Kiss Vampirella #1 revels in its cheesiness, it's a great comic. One thing I disliked about Kiss Vampirella is that Sabella would cut from a Vampirella and or Kiss scene just as it was getting to go into another scene. For example, Vampy and Lily are tailing a middle management music type that has a demonic aura and then get surrounded by the stronger, more threatening associates. Valentina Pinto sets the scene by deepening her blacks and grays, and Anna Paolo Martello has shown she can draw action in a cold open where Vampy beats up a creepy stalker guy. But they decide to cut to Kiss at the pool trying to get their friend Frankie sober while he babbles obvious foreshadowing dialogue. And the action scene is limited to 2 speedline-filled panels, and it's kind of a drag after the previous pages of build-up. However, the overall tone of the comic is pretty rockin' and a little bit tongue-in-cheek as Chris Sabella gives Vampirella sarcastic dialogue about things that go bump in the night, even though her main job is a demon hunter. Now here's my review of issue 1 from Comics for Sinners. The story is set in 1974. Vampirella, who has been with us for about 5 years, is searching LA for demons and monsters. Kiss, on the other hand, has been touring the country to promote their debut album. The 4 makeup-clad rockers take a break and head to LA to begin their second album. Both Vampirella, along with her own band Witchcraft, and Kiss are making great music, and this issue captures the LA music scene. I grew up on Kiss and Vampirella comics, so this is an exciting issue for me. Loved it. The creative team. Christopher Sabella brings us into the action slowly for issue 1. He takes his time introducing the characters and has obviously done his research into Kiss's first tip to the City of Angels. We see Vampy arriving with her band, Witchcraft, and playing local venues. Kiss also arrives and gets ready to record what will become the record that is considered by many rock historians to be the first grunge album, Hotter Than Hell. The opening scene has a young couple, apparently record producers, driving along the highway and listening to some demo tapes of unknown bands. What happens next is shocking. I won't give it away, but there's something wrong with the couple that causes them to behave strangely. Issue 1 is a great setup. We still don't see Vampy interacting with the Gods of Thunder, but we see their paths about to cross as our heroes frequent the same bar. Anna Paolo Martello's art is kind of rough and cartoony at the same time. It evokes Kiss 2 Marvel Super Special appearances from the 70s, rather than the detailed look of Vampirella's Warren magazine art. This is definitely a plus for the issue, as Martello takes us on a tour of 70s LA, where the fashion of that era evoked a kind of animated flair. Also, the band obviously looks like the cartoon characters in their makeup days as well. The smoke-filled bars of 70s-era LA are well construed. I could almost see Kim Fowley in the crowd, checking out the ladies of Witchcraft and hoping to sign them with a different name, the Runaways. However, Joan Jett and the other ladies weren't in this band, and that would happen for real about a year later. All in all, Martello's art fits this story. In conclusion, not a lot of action in this issue, True Believer, but the setup is there for better things to come, with a plot that involves everyone's favorite scantily clad female vampire and the greatest rock band of the 70s as voted on by readers of Cream, Circus, Hit Parader, and all the major rock magazines of that era. Also some shady goings-on from a group that's recruiting rock bands for unknown reasons that seem to involve the supernatural. You know this one's going to get good. Quick. 3 stars, 8.7 rating from this comic book reviewer. Then in 2019, we get Kiss the End. What lies beyond our world? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? When a young man finds himself on the wrong side of life, he encounters death itself and is set on a quest to seek out his errant demon offspring in an attempt to make his way back to the world of the living. But there is much peril on the way, and the only ones who can help him are Kiss Jay thought his life was pretty normal until he died. Now, with the help of a mysterious girl named Mania, Jay is tracking down the members of KISS at the behest of the Demon King. And if you think that is metal, just wait until we get to the part about the wasteland. Yes, KISS and Dynamite Comics are releasing The End to coincide with the End of the Road tour. Will this be the end of KISS comic books? Only time will tell. And that was my look, my friends, comic book fans, at the history of KISS in the world of comic books, from Marvel to Image and Dark Horse, also IDW and Dynamite, and several others. KISS has played an important part in the world of rock and roll and the world of comic books, and leave us with fond memories. And who knows? They did a farewell tour once before, just maybe. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. Until next time, this is Kevin Gibbons saying so long and keep reading those comics.